defensive guys, and they are trying to keep it together. And still an opportunity with their schedule to fight for bowl eligibility in the second half of the season. On a rainy day here in Iowa City, out comes the veteran, Nate Stanley. As we take a look at who's slinging it today, brought to you by Sling TV. He's top 5 all time here at Iowa in passing yards and passing touchdowns.
Nate Stanley from Menominee, Wisconsin, quarterback at the University of Iowa. Today we hope to establish the ground game and finish our drives with touchdowns. Get 7 points instead of 3 points.
And they will go to ground on the first play of the game. Samisi Fakasiecki with the stop. So it's been by committee for this Iowa offense with Stanley through the air and then Sargent Young and the emerging Tyler Goodson on the ground.
Yeah, he's had a great career. I mean, he's done really good things. The protection has been an issue. The run game, the help in the play action, and the pass game has been tough. And Stanley's not an athletic quarterback. He wants to stay in the pocket. They got to protect him to give him the opportunities that he needs.
They'll go empty set here on second down. And his first pass, a completion to Brandon Smith, the guy he's been playing with now for 3 seasons. For a closer look at this Boilermaker D, here's Rocky Boyman.
Well, Anthony, you mentioned Iowa wanting to get that run game going, that stretch play that they're known for. Talking to the Purdue coaches, they want their defensive front to attack that thing, shoot gaps. They're lighter front, but they really like their speed out there. One guy to really watch for, George Karloftis, defensive end, 4 sacks, 9.5 tackles for loss as a true freshman, guys.
Yeah, the 7th-ranked defensive end, according to ESPN, coming out of high school last year, and the completion to Tyrone Tracy, and a gain of 7. So we're going to run the ball a lot more today, AB, but we're going to throw it 2 of our first 3 plays.
They got to soften the defense up a little bit. You know, Purdue's going to try to stack the box today and try to penetrate this offensive line. But this is good to get Stanley in a bit of a mix. That's one guy, these 2 players for Purdue, linebacker Holt and the secondary. They're going to try to stop this run, but if they can open it up a bit in the pass, it can help.
Got the I formation with the fullback in there here, and the run for Mekhi Sargent, Derrick Barnes, and Fakasiecki in on the stop with a 3rd down and a couple coming up right here. For an Iowa offense that's faced 2 of the top defenses in the country the last couple of weeks in Michigan and Penn State, scoring just 1 touchdown in those last 2 games. And looking for the conversion here against the Boilermakers. Ross, the fullback, the only guy behind Stanley, and he dives for the line to gain. Looks like he's going to get a pretty good spot. Dove right into the arms of Ben Holt, the 5th-year senior middle linebacker and the defensive coordinator's son, Nick Holt. And they've got the first down yardage.
Nick Holt, his defensive coordinator for Purdue, getting on one of his guys in that short distance. He is a fiery character for Purdue.
Sargent across midfield. How about Beck's breakdown for today, Anthony?
Well, what's been the issues for this Iowa? Check this out. It's a check with me package. Stanley changes the play going from right to left, but a right guard doesn't get the call. Free runner in the backfield, huge fumble, big play in the game. Now it's protection, bigs on big, and number 10 has the Mike linebacker. Very simple protection. Where's he go? Away from him, free hitter on the quarterback, knocks him away. And then the last one, another protection. Now 10 gets on the backer, but the center's confused by the lineman. And when he comes and hits him, nobody's home, they get another sack. So when you're talking about what's going on, it's small things, Beth, but clearly they can be fixed game to game.
Yeah, they only rushed for 71 yards the last 2 games, but finding success here early through the air. A 25-yard completion to Brandon Smith for another first down. That O-line, fantastic tackles, and Tristan Wurtz and Alaric Jackson, the question marks on the interior. First and 10, and it's Tyrone Tracy. Jet sweeps his way inside the 20-yard line, and when you talk about Iowa in the red zone, a perfect 20 for 20 this year. 13 of those touchdowns.
One thing very apparent down here at field level, guys, is just the size difference between the Iowa offensive line and this Purdue defensive line. Big up front for Iowa.
4 of the 5 are 6'5" or better. Sargent caught from behind. Good pursuit by Jalen Alexander, and a depleted linebacker core looking to show itself early here.
It's a good job shooting the gap by Alexander. That's what they're going to have to do. Rocky talked about just being a movable piece on as a defensive lineman, really pressing and pushing to the side, and then your linebackers have to come up and make big plays. Another third down opportunity here for Purdue to potentially get off the field.
Stack Smith and Smith-Marset to the right. And running down inside the 15 and appears to be a couple of inches shy of the line. And a 4th down call.
They're going for it, guys.
Brady Ross, the fullback, runs out of the field with arms flexed, muscles showing. They're going to push for it here on 4th and 1.
No brainer here. I mean, especially your interior offensive line. Kirk Ferentz wants to put confidence in these guys that they can handle the undersized players for Purdue in the middle.
Keeper for the quarterback, Stanley, all the way down to the 11-yard line. First down, Hawkeyes.
You know, you see that play there and you're thinking to yourself, man, that's an easy 6'5", 240 pounds. You never see this in college. They're either going to get the quarterback in the shotgun or they're going to snap it or do something crazy. Finally, a team that gets it. Get a yard, put your big quarterback, put his head down, and run the sneak.
So critical to their success to be able to run the football. Look at that in the last 5 years, the difference when they can run for over 100 and when they don't. Here comes the 12th play of this drive. And Sargent caught behind the line by Ben Holt. The grad transfer from Western Kentucky, who's really developed into the leader without Marcus Bailey and Keenan Douglas, both out with injuries.
Rocky, I know you really like Ben Holt being a big player. I know you just on the tape, he really sticks out.
He really does. And look, 5'11", 220 pounds, but the guy's got the #1 thing you need as a linebacker, and that's instincts. He just has a nose for the football.
Does he remind you of somebody from the past?
Yeah, a little bit. Number 50 for the, back in the day.
Fighting Irish, Rocky himself. Out of the gun here for Stanley on 2nd down. Incomplete. Through the hands of Sean Byer, one of the tight ends. And a converted wide receiver.
It's been a slow start, Beth, for the tight ends. Byer and Weeding coming in for this football team, trying to be, take the place of Fant and Hawkinson. But last week, a big game for them. They're going to try to work them in on this offense. 3rd and long now. Purdue gets what they want. Can they make a stop?
Stanley with 4 wideouts. Going to buy a little time with his feet. Karlaftis giving chase, heaves it towards the end zone, incomplete. Looking for Smith-Marset. Derrick Mackey had the coverage, and the Purdue defense holds. It's 4th down.
Stanley had his tailback, Mekhi Sargent, right up the seam. Watch this guy come right up the seam. It opens up. I thought he was looking right at him. Watch the safety kind of splits it. If he hits the back shoulder, he's got a touchdown, Beth, right there for the Hawkeyes. Instead, Purdue gets him off the read, and they get themselves a situation where they force a field goal.
30-yard attempt here for Keith Duncan. And he hits the chip shot. First drive of the game for Iowa. Stalls inside the red zone, but they do get the 3-0. 15 plays, 63 yards in 7 minutes and 15 seconds. Chewing up that clock. And a good balance of the run-pass. Now the first chance for Purdue. They'll start on their own 25-yard line. The injuries have affected a lot of things, including the quarterback position for Purdue this year. And there's the guy about to make his 4th start, the redshirt freshman Jack Plummer, the Big Ten Offensive Player of the Week after his 3-touchdown performance in the Maryland win.
Jack Plummer, Gilbert, Arizona, quarterback. Purdue University. We're looking to spread the ball around and score as many points as possible.
Had a big day against the Terps, 33 for 41 for 420 yards through the air. And it's a Purdue offense that has hit this Iowa defense for big plays the last 2 years, and there's a big hit that Bob Sanders would have been proud of. Jack Kerner coming up from his safety spot.
You know, I got to give a lot of credit to Jack Plummer. A couple weeks ago, this guy gets sacked 10 times against Penn State. You think as a redshirt freshman, he'd fold, collapse. He was even getting pressure by his head coach that he was going to get pulled versus Maryland, and he comes back and has a huge game. He's on a little bit of a roll after last week.
One thing they want to try and get going is the run game. It has been absent all year long, second worst in the country at just 63 yards per game. But they've got King Doru heating up, and Tario Fuller is back today as they face a 3rd and 4. Directing traffic, he's got a man across midfield. And the catch by Ahmad Anderson and a first down. Hook up at 23 yards through the air.
Blown coverage here. Nobody home for Iowa. Yeah, Plummer actually had him earlier, and then he comes out of his break and heads to the sideline. Watch him here on the inside as he runs up. He's going to run right past his safety. Safety's jumping that tight end, then he rolls out to the right and gets himself a big completion. Good job by Plummer.
Plummer flushed, and he'll throw that one away. Chauncey Golston was giving chase. The Hawkeye fans thought he was held. It's an offensive line for Purdue that started 4 different guys last week. They've had 9 different starters on the season. That was Eric Miller, 74.
Yeah, that wasn't a hold. He just dribbled back too far, to be quite honest with you. It's a good pass rush. That's the thing Jack Plummer brings, a little bit of athleticism, Beth, to get out of the pocket.
Yeah, that pass is dropped. He was looking for Bryson Hopkins, the tight end who had the best day that a tight end has had all year in FBS a week ago with 10 catches at 140 yards.
That's an easy one. He's got to grab that, but I'll tell you, this kid is really a stud at the position. He's been a target. He's a guy that gets big, strong. He can block inline, outline. Now in this 3rd and long, puts a little bit of pressure on Jack Plummer.
Stepping up. Now backing up, and will heave it downfield, incomplete. A.J. Epinesa, Amani Jones, Davion Nixon, all putting Plummer under pressure, and they'll have to punt it.
Epinesa's a stud. NFL scouts are here watching him today. Saw a couple GMs. Mike Mayock is here from the Raiders, Beth. So, you know, a couple of big-time players for Iowa. Got some tackles you talked about as well that are on the radar. Some younger players. They're all juniors for Iowa.
The pooch punt and the fair catch around the 18-yard line from Geno Stone, a punt of 27.
Media. Back here, getting a glimpse of the hitman, Bob Sanders, former teammate of mine with the Colts. And I'll tell you guys, I was telling you yesterday, I've never seen a player tackle a guy in the open field the way Bob Sanders could. Running back, receiver could come out in the open field and no breaking down, no coming down, anything. He just, boom, shot out of a cannon, tackled the guy dead to rights right there.
And I always had the right corner of my eye when I played against him in the league, too. I made sure I knew where he was. It's great to see him here. He looks like he can still play rock. He's got.
But I talked to him before the game. We were supposed to do an interview. I think he had a little too much fun last night coming back to Iowa, but he's a great dude, man. It was fun.
Way to put him on Jump Street.
Spoke to the team yesterday. And the pass from Stanley out across the 30 to Nico Reganey out of the slot for a first down. When we talked to Kirk Ferentz, and I've heard Hayden Fry say similar things, they don't know if they've ever had a defensive guy here that could just change a game with his presence the way that Bob Sanders did and made everyone else around him better.
We asked him, did you remember any plays that he made? Instantly, he came up with 3
Yeah.
that he remembered. I was like, he ripped them off like it was yesterday. Clearly made a presence here at Iowa.
Churning it out across the 35 is Torin Young. Rock?
And Anthony, as he was telling us about some of those plays, Bob made it. My favorite line was he said, Bob's freshman year, our defense was made up of a bunch of pacifists. And we knew we had to get that guy on the field. And he really just turned the attitude of that entire defense around. God, he is such a special player.
Culture changer, right?
Super Bowl champ with you in Indy?
Yeah, he had a game-sealing interception in the big game. And when he picked that one off, we knew it was over.
For Stanley, he'll try and put one over the top. And the money in the one-handed grab by Amir Smith-Marset, and the dance moves down the sideline.
They've been one of the best receiving cores they've had here in a while. And Smith-Marset is a burner. But watch this pass. Stanley drops it in. Watch this catch, folks. One-handed, presses it out. The DB, one of their best corners, Corey Trice, didn't even see the football. Great timing on the throw. Excellent catch. Big-time play for Iowa.
And with that throw, Nate Stanley just moved into 4th all-time, passing Chuck Hartley for career passing yardage with a 32-yard gain right there. Big hole up the middle. Torin Young behind Tyler Linderbaum and Cody Ince, who's now getting some play at left guard for Iowa.
One of the things Torin Young is not going to miss, Beth, is the hole. When he finds it, he puts his foot in the ground, and he is a downhill back. He's the thicker, bigger back at 223 pounds, but he's looking right now that he's gashing this defense for Purdue.
He's the lone setback. Fire in motion. Torin will run that way, and he's caught from behind again, shooting the gaps and leading the way, Giovanni Revere with Jalen Graham. Well, and tonight you can expect whiteout conditions for another big Big Ten matchup. It's the whiteout under the lights in Happy Valley, number 16 Michigan at number 7 Penn State. 7:30 Eastern on ABC, presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Big one tonight in the Big Ten. Next week, Wisconsin and Ohio State. Michigan will be hosting Notre Dame, a big opportunity for the conference to make some hay towards getting back to the college football playoff. And a 3rd down stop again right there for the Purdue D. AC
goes to Reganey, number 89. That's been his 3rd down weapon. And he was open, just misses. A little off target. The pocket was clean. Nate Stanley's got to hit that. They need scores, Beth, and field goals are not the way they want to get it.
Duncan hit from 30 earlier. This one a 44-yard attempt. He's got that one too. Last drive covering 7 plays, 56 yards. And the time of possession skewed towards the Hawkeyes here in the 1st. Jackson Andrup with the return, and he's got room down the sideline, shoved out across the 40. And that will set up the Boilermakers in a good spot. We'll kick off your Week 7 NFL Sunday with ESPN and the ESPN app. It gets underway with NFL Countdown at 10 Eastern with all the latest in a big Sunday slate, including the Ravens Seahawks, Raiders Packers, Eagles Cowboys, and the Saints and the Bears all going head-to-head this Sunday.
You know, Beth, you'd have to say for Purdue, those are 2 big wins on defense to hold Iowa to a field goal. Now what happens is your offense has to pick it up and give you something when you got it this close against an Iowa team.
Set up with the 38-yard return here. Plummer off the pump fake and has to send it out of bounds. He's thrown 3 away early. Davion Nixon was coming right at him.
You know, normally on an RPO, which is a run-pass option, you don't go to the far receiver on the outside. It's usually to an inside guy working the middle. There it got covered, and he wasn't able to get to anyone on that football play.
The flag was thrown on the total opposite side of the field, the near side.
Ineligible receiver downfield on the pass, number 72,
5-yard penalty, we play. First down.
Well, we've talked about some of the inexperience up front. That's Sam Garvin, the sophomore who started out his career at Indiana, now at Purdue.
Yeah, he's the center. He's going up on the linebacker. This is what happens when you pump fake the RPO. It looks like he's running around in the middle of the field.
Yeah.
That puts everybody in a bind. That's kind of the ups and downs sometimes with that RPO option.
These, by the way, are two of the least penalized teams in the country. They'll get that yardage back out to the 41-yard line. Anthrop. Jackson and David Bell have done a good job trying to fill in for Rondale Moore, who's still out with the injury.
Yeah, it's a great catch going behind the body. Sure-handed Anthrop. I mean, he's a guy that's accountable. He's not the most athletic. He's a slot guy, but he's got some quickness. He's averaging about 1 or 2 jet sweeps as well. He's a part of the run game, and that's somebody that Jake Plummer is able to lean on throughout his games.
No Rondale Moore again this week, and obviously no Elijah Sindelar. They've been relying a lot the last couple of weeks on freshmen.
Offense, number 74. 5-yard penalty, second down.
In fact, their 5 scores against Maryland last week, freshmen had a hand in all of them. And this penalty will go against one of those freshmen, Eric Miller. He made his first start last week. So did Mark Stickford on the left side, and Sam Garvin. Some wholesale changes up front. In fact, Grant Hermans, the left tackle, is the only guy that has started in the same spot in every game along that line.
You see how many true freshmen, redshirt freshmen, plus the injuries. It's been tough for Coach Brown.
Incomplete on that pass, looking for another true freshman, Milton Wright. And it's going to be 3rd down and long.
And that was the first play, guys, where I saw Iowa in any sort of press coverage. But even with that, they were clearly making everything stay underneath them. That's priority number 1 today for Iowa's defense. Don't get beat over the top.
Four-man pressure coming, the throw, and it's going to be right at the line to gain to David Bell. Big-time recruit for the Boilermakers, and 14 yards will move the chains.
They absolutely love Bell. He is a stud inside, outside receiver. He's a deep ball threat. Number 1 in the Big Ten in receiving as a freshman. Number 2 in the FBS as a freshman as well. Look for him to be heavily targeted today.
The Big Ten Freshman of the Week with his first catch. And just when I was lauding them for being one of the least penalized teams in the country.
Offense, number 78. 5-yard penalty, first down.
The 3rd piece of laundry on the carpet in this drive.
It's the Mowens jinx going around town.
Jerry McGinn is our referee as I try and change the subject today. Dennis Lipsky will be our replay official upstairs if need be.
Beth, we got to heat up Twitter any way we can. You know, that's how we do it. That's how we do it. So get on Twitter, folks.
You know, a chick calling a football game tends to move the chains, AB. 6-0 Iowa early on across midfield, and looking for the tight end again, Bryson Hopkins. So here's a 5th-year guy that was relatively quiet, Anthony, until last week, and just the explosion, and now suddenly he's on NFL radar.
Yeah, you know, he wasn't really feeling himself early in the season, wasn't getting a lot of balls. You know, finally they actually detached him. He's a little hobbly right now. Hopefully he can come back. Maybe it's a groin area or something, but when you talk about his skill set, he's an NFL kind of guy. You know, I think right now he's a 3rd, 5th round guy, but truly can work his way up if he has a strong finish to the season.
Plummer settling down nicely now, and he finds David Bell for another first down hookup.
And this is going to be the key, guys. Clearly, Purdue knows Iowa doesn't want to get beat, so they must remain patient. And when you don't want to get beat deep, you can have a tendency to play soft. So if Purdue can just keep taking those open wide receivers underneath, that's a good plan.
That'll take care of the first quarter, and a 6-0 Iowa lead as the fans here in Kinnick get set to turn and wave to the Children's Hospital. One of the great traditions here in Iowa City, the wave to the folks over at the Children's Hospital right next door to Kinnick Stadium here. Not only the fans, but Kirk Ferentz in on it, Purdue, the officials all turned to wave, and just a heartwarming moment at the end of the first quarter. Every home game here for the Hawkeyes. Jack Plummer here on the rollout to open up the second quarter, and Bryson Hopkins is back out there for Purdue, and he makes the catch for a 7-yard gain.
How cool is that for those kids when they're the focal point?
Yeah.
One time a week, everybody's waving to them, and I mean, they're lined up. They were up there early. Not only are they waving, they're watching this football game. They got some of the best seats in the house on the top of that hospital. It's pretty cool.
The run up the middle, Doru with the first down. How about a studio update with Kevin Connors? Thank you. First and 10 from the 29. Plummer finds his man again. Hopkins, so the ball popped out, but it was bumped out of bounds. Matt Hankins with a nice hit. Junior out of Louisville, Texas.
Mixing in a little bit of the short passing game. Try to get something on first and second down. Ball pops out, but he's out of bounds. Good shot, good catch. Again, just got to get something on first and second down if you're Purdue. No matter what the yardage is, you can't be behind the sticks.
Plummer has now hit 5 passes in a row. Off the fake, he now will deliver it to Doru. Trying to make a man miss. Good stiff arm. And it looks like he's got enough for the first down as he beat the freshman Dane Belton. Spot's going to be just short.
It's a good job by Doru. He wasn't the first option. They fake pitched it, but just so disciplined by Iowa's secondary. Didn't give up the big pass on the levels throw. Forced it underneath. Just got to converge and make that tackle. Third and short now. See what Purdue goes with.
Third and short has not been as easy as it should be for the Boilers this year so far. Doru got it. And the Boilermakers push their way inside the red zone.
I'm proud of Jeff Brom. He had his quarterback get under center there. You wouldn't think that, right? I mean, I've just been bashing teams across the country, Beth, and here's a guy that likes to spread it out, get in the shotgun. He understands the situation, which is great. Gets his quarterback underneath. Good push so far by this depleted offensive line.
Jeff now watching the 11th play of this drive, hampered early by penalties, but they've been rolling here. Plummer with time, and the pass break up downfield by Hankins. Well, that's one of the things, Anthony, with all the injuries for the Boilermakers on offense, Brom and his staff have really had to get creative with, making sure they're putting their weapons in the best positions to make plays.
Yeah, I'm right there. They try to go outside. This is a nice job by Hankins, the cornerback, making a play just right on the receiver, making it difficult for the freshman, trying to get it to Bell.
There they go with the fullback again. Richie Worship offset, play action. They'll throw the receiver screen the other way, and dancing down inside the 10, Ahmad Anderson. The ball stripped out at the tail end of the play. And the Hawkeyes have it.
They're going to have to look at this. It looked like he was down, Beth. I know the crowd's excited, but we'll have to replay this one. A lot of bodies converging.
The field is a fumble, recovered by the defense. First down, Iowa.
Hankins is the guy that came out with it.
We'll see, he was twisting and turning, falling to the ground. Get a view of it. There it is. He's got that ball held out like a piece of bread, number one. That's never a good thing. He's twisting and turning. Question is the ball come through? The ball pops out there, but I see his body down. The question
Previous play is under further review.
Do we
rule
get
in the field was a fumble recovered by the defense.
Do you get an angle?
Media timeout.
And he's on the ground. It pops out into our vision really late. But here's the thing,
Here's
Beth.
the side right here.
The thing about this is you have to actually see if it's tight.
Yeah. Geno Stone, number 9, was the guy trying to strip it out of there. Did he get it out before Anderson hit the ground? We'll find out next. But the ruling on the field is a fumble and a recovery for Iowa. Geno Stone with the strip of Ahmad Anderson. And the recovery by Matt Hankins, and under review, the play stands. The call stands. So it's Iowa football and a red zone turnover for Purdue. They had it for nearly 6 minutes, ran 12 plays, AB, and this is where it ends.
Yeah, it's unfortunate because you really don't have a definitive view of the ball when it actually pops out. It pops out late when he's on the ground, but they can't see it from the point of where it actually lost from his arm or he kept it in his arm. So unfortunately, without that angle, they cannot overturn it, even though you would lean on the side of it came out after he hit the ground.
5 wide here, the empty set for Nate Stanley. Completion to Nico Legani, and he'll pick up the first down. And let's check back in with Kevin in the studio. Boy, South Carolina, the SEC East wrecking ball the last couple of weeks.
SEC needs teams like South Carolina to play well, to get the bulk middle part of that conference kind of going a little bit.
Stanley across the middle, broken up, incomplete. Rocky?
Anthony, you know how much I love watching quarterbacks when they make their own checks at the line of scrimmage. Nathan Stanley doing just that, going through the progressions, getting out of bad plays into good plays versus a lot of college football. The quarterback looks to the sideline and says, Coach, where do I go with the football? What should I check to? I like watching Nate Stanley work here.
Yeah, no pictures of Beth Mowins on cards on the sidelines or Elvis Presley. He doesn't have to do any of that. Give the kid the responsibility to make the play on the field, and that's what they teach him here in this Iowa offense.
In his 33rd consecutive start, only Jake Fromm at Georgia has more in the Power 5, and Stanley calling his own number right there. Scoots out across the 30 and a run of 9 yards.
You never see it, Beth. He obviously, I asked him yesterday, what do you need to add to your repertoire? Well, he doesn't run around or move too much, so why don't you put it on the resume? Checkmate right here. It's a good job. He's a big guy. I mean, look, it takes 2 players to bring him down at 245 pounds. It's a good mix-up, though, because nobody would actually see him pull the ball in the film so far.
Old wing T quarterback in high school. Then he was the backup here, and the first 3-year starter since Ricky Stanzi about a decade ago for the Hawkeyes. So trying to go back to the run. And Purdue with a big stuff on 3rd down. A loss of 1, and so far the Purdue defense has come up with the big stops.
Yeah, this was all made by the penetration of their nose tackle, number 90, Lawrence Johnson. He gets great push and penetration, and he makes a big play, allows the linebacker to help out. There's a happy man right there. Defensive coordinator Nick Holt is fired up about that stop.
Scoop Dalton to punt it away as the Hawkeyes cannot cash in on the turnover. And they are swarming all over. Anthrop back at the 20, a 49-yard punt. Terry Roberts on the coverage.
Timeout.
Nothing on the return. So far for the Hawkeyes and Keith Duncan in the 6-0 lead. Purdue had a nice drive the last time they had it, and then the turnover in the red zone costly. And it's back to the ground, and a couple of nice cuts by the true freshman King Doru. They got out of Amarillo, Texas.
And you don't have the size up front offensively. You saw in that play the center got pushed back big time by the nose tackle. But because there's space and there's an opportunity for the back to cut back and hit different lanes, he's able to salvage that play, Beth, and get some yards.
Only rushing 63 yards per game, and so far 17 on the ground on their 5 carries. try again. Wilder looking for the edge, denied and wrapped up by Jaimin Colbert. And a flag is down. It's a linebacking core without Christian Welch in the middle today. He's out hurt. Colbert, Neiman, Dylan Doyle trying to pick up the slack.
Holding. Offense. Number 78. 10-yard penalty. Replay. Second down.
That's their left tackle, and that's their best offensive lineman. Not only does he have a holding penalty, you'll see him right on the edge right here, but he also has an offsides penalty in this game, something that he wouldn't normally do because of his leadership and presence for this football team.
They only average 5 penalties per game. They've already got 4 now here in the first half.
26.
And that will push the Boilermakers back to the 16-yard line. Bazon Hewitt now comes in at tailback, another true freshman. They'll play action with him. Plummer looking deep downfield and runs out of time. Zach Van Volkenberg. Check that, John Wagner got in on the sack. And a loss of 7.
Yeah, it's a full fake to the left, and Wagner actually is on that side, goes to the fake, but's able to stick his foot in the ground and come back and make a huge play. Now they got him 3rd and deep. Watch him go in and come back on this football play. It's really great effort. That's kind of what Iowa is, right, Beck? Effort. Now they got him at 3rd and long.
Waiting for Hewitt out in the flat, 4th down.
Talked about no Welsh. Well, Colbert is the guy, Rocky, that has to step up and make big plays for this second level of their defense.
Yeah, he does. Talking to Phil Parker yesterday, the defensive coordinator, and he liked the depth of their linebacking crew. A couple young guys, but certainly some guys making some plays. That was a great one right there.
It's a group that's top 10 in the country, Rocky. Scoring defense, total defense, passing defense.
And they've given up just 3 touchdowns to Big Ten opponents this year, playing well.
Zach Collins will punt out of his own end zone. Fair catch will set up the Hawkeyes at their own 45-yard line. Max Cooper, the deep man.
And Holt leading the charge, 60 tackles on the season. But how about the interior defensive line? They've really stepped up. Undersized guy, they're hitting the gaps, and they're making it difficult for Iowa to run the football.
It's been a maligned group. They're 11th in the Big Ten statistics for rush defense. And the emphasis for the Hawkeyes was to be able to run the ball today, but just 15 carries for 42 yards here in the first half, and Stanley just barely does get back to the line of scrimmage. What you got for us, Kevin Connors?
That's by Derrick Barnes.
Ooh.
Thank you, Kevin. I think that's the biggest thing right now for the College Football Playoff Committee. How good is Clemson, and how good can they be at the end of the season with the offense not really showing like they have in the past?
Well, you know, Trevor Lawrence, let's be honest, when you win the national championship as a true freshman, there's only one place to go, Beth, right? Kind of down. I mean, I wasn't wishing that for him, but it's just tough. Teams are really dialed in. They're playing better defense. I haven't seen anything out of Clemson that's been, you know, off the wall different, so they just have to get better. But 2 interceptions early, that's interesting.
They have a schedule that gives them a great chance to go undefeated, but I don't know if it's a schedule that will give them a lot of points for strength when the committee looks at that and considers other teams that still may be undefeated at the end of the year.
We're talking about their rush defense. How about 1 for 5 for Iowa today on 3rd down? Excellent job. See if they can get off here.
3rd and 9. Stanley rifles it downfield. 1st down inside the Purdue 40 to Brandon Smith. And a gain of 15.
You know, it's nice when he has protection because he really is a great quarterback. Watch him check right. Nothing's there. He knows 12's going to be there for him. Finds the hole. Smith-Marsette's been the burner for them. If you get time to throw the ball, he can separate from any corner in the country.
And Anthony, it's been that interior offensive line that's had some issues here for Iowa this year so far today. Not a bad job in pass protection.
Stanley on the rollout. Completes this down inside the 30 to Smith, and a good push and a nice block. Good help in the backfield by Tyler Goodson to buy Stanley an extra second. A gain of 11.
I hear a lot of Iowa fans saying, hey, let's start the pass off for the team to get the run opened up. It's usually the other way around, but Stanley getting into a flow here, moving them. They like to get him out the pocket a little bit, work those levels, but you see the type of skill set they have at the receiver position. Brandon Smith now 2 catches in a row.
First and 10. Reganey shoved out of bounds at the 23-yard line. Don't forget, coming up, ESPN primetime, Tua and Jerry Jeudy and the undefeated Crimson Tide of Alabama hosting Tennessee, 9 o'clock on ESPN. The Tide averaging 51 points per game and rolling through the competition.
Speaking of competition, they really don't play anybody till LSU towards the end of November, so they're going to continue to steamroll and do what they do.
Goodson, his first carry, maybe a couple up the middle. Yeah, that's the big SEC game that looms on the schedule. Of course, a monster matchup. If Wisconsin can take care of business today, they're up 10-0 on Illinois. They go to the Shoe high noon next Saturday.
Well, defensive lines come up big with penetration. Let's see, this is probably a passing down. Look for number 89, Reganey in the slot. He's a guy that he likes to go to on third and short pass opportunities right up here. See where Stanley decides to go if they choose to run, to pass.
Stanley looks to Reganey, swarm, and he won't get there. Taken down at the 25-yard line.
It's like the defensive coordinator, Nick Holt, knew the play was coming. I didn't expect a short, quick throw. I like him in the option route, maybe 3 or 4 yards down the field, but look at the swarm by this defense now. Everybody's on it. You see 1, 2, 3 defenders. Nobody blocks them right here. I mean, this is a gang tackle. Nick Holt's going to love that. Guy's intense on the sideline, jumping around. This is exactly what Purdue's defense needs to help spark this team.
Well done by Simeon Smiley. And that will force the 3rd field goal today for Keith Duncan. It's good from 42. Kevin, we've got one of those ranked teams right here. Number 23 Iowa and the Hawkeyes with 3 Keith Duncan field goals and a 9-0 lead. And the short kick here, a chance for a return out to the 23-yard line. Let's go back and revisit the Keith Duncan celebration with his guys, Anthony. Sometimes a handshake's not enough. Brothers don't shake hands. Brothers got a hug.
Well, he's number 3, but he looks like a 3-year-old that just saw Santa Claus and he gave him his favorite gift. Oh, okay, rewind that one more time with that replay.
Wirfs took good care of him,
nice,
man.
Wirfs like, whoa, easy.
Santa Claus.
That was the craziest I could ever see. That was good.
Here's,
one more time. We got to break it down. Watch how he gets in tight, pulls him in. Big Bear, my buddy. Good job, buddy.
First and 10 in the 2-minute drill here for Purdue to try to get something on the board before halftime.
We break it all down, man. I mean, it's everything we see on the field.
No stone.
That's it.
Left unturned.
Great catch by our producer director.
So Plummer 11 for 16, approaching 100 yards for the first half. And some more throws to come. Hopkins held onto it, hit from behind, and taken down. It's going to be 3rd down coming up after that 4-yard pickup.
Really like Belton, true freshman out of Tampa, number 4. He gets the duties against Hopkins here. Here we go, 3rd and short. See if Plummer can get himself some space, some off coverage on the inside receivers at the top of the screen.
Quick slant and a first down to David Bell, freshman to freshman.
And when you ask Jeff Brom about Bell, and we're no way by any stretch going to compare him right now to this guy, but he said he is as smooth a route runner as Jerry Rice, and that's how they kind of look at him.
Looking for him over the top, on the run with the catch down inside the 30. As they go after Matt Hankins for the second play in a row.
Well, first he got held by Hankins. Watch Hankins grab him here and slow him down, but look at the concentration. He is as pure as he comes catching the football. He is a star. Iowa a little late running some guys off. Free play.
Flags flying. Plummer up for grabs in the end zone, and it's batted down incomplete. Intended for Jared Sparks.
Rocky was saying Kirk Ferentz was calling for a timeout. I wonder if they're going to talk and give it to him, or they're going to live with the penalty.
That was the first play of over 25 yards today for Purdue's offense. That was the marker that Phil Parker set.
Legal substitution on the defense. More than 11 players on the field. 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
Said we can't give up more than a couple of those, and Plummer got one there on him, and now the penalty. Hawkeyes running on late.
And guys, Phil Parker, Iowa defensive coordinator, is out of his mind right now at Hankins for giving up that big play.
First penalty of the day on the Hawkeyes. Under a minute to go into the red zone for the Boilermakers, and batted down as A.J. Epinesa makes an appearance.
6'6", 280 pounds. A lot of guys have him high on potential draft boards, but he's only a junior. I'll tell you, he's explosive, he's powerful, he drives back players. Right here, he gets around. Good job tracking the football. They're asking him to do more than just bull rush. Get involved, be quick, get your hands up, knock balls down. It's a great job.
Bell down to the bottom of your screen. Plummer looking that way. Got him inside the 10, spinning down to the 6.
Rocky, you talked about if there's space, take advantage of short routes. We're seeing it right now.
Absolutely, and back to Bell, what you were mentioning about the smoothness of it. He does have just an effortlessness about his play. Just nothing seems herky or jerky or anything like that. Just smooth, catch the ball, roll into the tackle.
Timeout. Purdue. They're first of the half.
He follows in
You
the
have 30
footsteps of
second charge.
Rondell
Timeout.
Moore, the true freshman Bell from Indy. Player of the year in the state last year. Well, tonight, the whiteout under the lights in Happy Valley. It's Saturday Night Football presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. Number 16, Michigan in town to take on undefeated Penn State. That high-powered scoring offense for the Lions and that stout Michigan defense.
I'll tell you, that defensive line for Penn State is sick. Speaking of the whiteout, a great experience for anybody to see that. My kid's in town for that game today, so I know he's going to be getting some goosebumps watching this one.
And Anthony, that Penn State defensive line, I think I read they're averaging 4.5 sacks a game. It's not bad.
Yeah, they got Purdue 10 times, so that helps your stats out for sure.
That's correct.
Here we go, Boilermakers, 44 seconds to go in the half. First and goal from the 7. Plummer looking back, shoulder, Bell sliding and making the catch. What a play by David Bell. Touchdown, Purdue.
This kid is good. I mean, he plays like a senior on the field. The kid slides, stops, falls down, still able to track the football. They say he's a quiet leader for this football team. Again, on Hankin, a lot of coverage, comes back. Look at that. I mean, that is a difficult catch, Beth, falling down here because he's trying to stop, slides down. Now, did his right foot hit the out of bounds? I don't think it did, but he goes down and catches that and gets himself a touchdown.
And I was going to have a better plan to cover David Bell moving forward because Matt Hankins was not doing a good job on that last series.
He's got 6 catches for 86 yards right now, and, of course, that touchdown.
And how about the drive engineered by Jack Plummer, the freshman, taking him 78 yards in 7 plays in just over a minute and a half. And Purdue has the first touchdown of the day. So Jeff Brom looking to carry over some momentum into and out of the locker room. Fair catch made by Smith-Marset, so out to the 25 for the Hawkeyes
Cedar made a
this
fair
season.
catch. By rule, the ball be placed at the 25-yard line. First down.
this season for every field goal and extra point made by participating universities. Allstate will make a contribution to the university's general scholarship fund. Thank you, Allstate. 3 Keith Duncan field goals. And then the late touchdown pass for Purdue. Plummer to David Bell. In a 9-7 game.
Iowa kind of short alignment. They get their guy in. Means comes in.
Duncan's getting ready just in case they can give him a shot here late. They'll choose to run it instead with Mekhi Sargent. George Karlaftis with the tackle. A few boos raining down on the play call.
Coach Ferentz will let this clock run out. They're going to take it in, and they have a small lead, but Purdue clearly has the momentum back.
Coming off the back-to-back losses, the Hawkeyes were hoping for a little better showing offensively. And meanwhile, for Purdue, off their big win a week ago, definitely coming in with some confidence, trying to beat Iowa for the 3rd straight time. Halftime in Iowa City, 9-7. Hawkeyes will be back with the Army National Guard halftime report after these messages.
Your defense doing a great job right now, holding Iowa just 45 yards rushing, no touchdowns. What's working well for you out there?
Well, we're playing hard. I think we're playing sound. Other than giving up a few easy completions, which is going to happen, I thought that our defense executed, and I'm really proud of their effort in the first half.
And offensively, you got something going on that last drive right there. What's going to be the key to continuing that here in the second half?
Well, we got to be efficient. These guys do a good job. They make you work it all the way down the field, and when you're doing that, you can't have mistakes, you can't have penalties, you can't have sacks, so efficiency is going to be very important.
Thanks, Coach.
Set to receive to open up this 3rd quarter. A chance perhaps to see more of what Mr. Bell can do. Anthrop gets it out across the 20. And we'll check in with Rocky Boyman.
Yeah, guys, I was able to catch up with Purdue head coach Jeff Brom. Very pleased, obviously, with how his defense is playing, limiting Iowa to just 45 yards. He said the key is they're a big front. We got to keep going, keep shooting those gaps. He said offensively, we got to keep getting the ball to our best playmakers. And that, of course, in the first half will be David Bell, so we shall see.
King Doru is the back in the backfield. And Bell is once again out there. Boilermakers try and pick up a second win without their big starters, Elijah Sindelar, Rondell Moore, and a good push by Chauncey Golson to blow that play up.
Doru's really has been a good back today. When I see him try to get to the outside, he doesn't have that breakaway speed. Got a couple other players, Fuller and Hewitt, that haven't got as many touches, but that's been the difference. Iowa defensive ends able to chase him down.
Plummer will drop it off to Doru out of the backfield. Out to the 30. And here's the big 3 that have emerged now. The freshman, Plummer, the redshirt, Bell, and Doru, the true rookies. They've accounted for a lot of their scoring the last 2 games. In the absence of Sindelar and Rondell Moore and Tario Fuller. 3rd and 5 here. Four-man pressure, Plummer, the slant to Bell, first down.
Bell is just working Hankins today. Hankins a junior, but comes out of his breaks. He's a refined route runner, ahead of his game for being a freshman. And just as smooth as they come. And small little details, when he makes that slant cut, he's coming downhill a bit on his angle to just really get that extra separation he needs.
Bell for a short game. So after Jack Plummer opened up just 1 for 5, since then he is 18 for 20 with over 150 yards through the air.
Solid numbers by Bell. That was last week against Maryland. He's starting to get to those numbers right now. And I'll tell you, you're off coverage. Are they going to get antsy, Iowa, and get tight on them? That's where you may see a deep threat pass to Bell later in the game.
Boy, those two are feeling it right now. They hook up again in into Iowa territory, down to the 40-yard line, and a gain of 17.
Well, number 28, Kerner, he's a guy that likes to come down the box quite a bit. So you're going to get that space above the corner and outside the safety. That's a nice job by Plummer finding that hole.
Over 100 yards now for Bell as Plummer puts this one up for grabs. Incomplete, looking for Milton Wright. Busted up by Michael Ojemudia, the senior out of Farmington Hills, Michigan.
I gotta tell you guys, I just love when offensive coordinators or play callers like Jeff Brum don't overthink things and don't think scheme. If you got a guy who's hot, you got a great player, get him the football, and I love how they continue to go to David Bell.
Receiver screen here for Anthrop, and a nice hit by Geno Stone, who forced a fumble in the first half. Holds that to a 2-yard gain. It's third down.
That was Bob Sanders like right there.
Epinesa on the bottom, number 94, defensive end for Iowa. Long third down situation gives this young man an opportunity to get off this pass rush. See if we can get to the quarterback.
Plummer to the outside, intercepted. He was looking for Bell, and it's picked off by Riley Moss.
Bell's a little gimpy, but this was not open. This was a freshman mistake by Plummer, trying to put this ball in the hole. Corner fading back. They're trying to hit this window right here, but safety's going to fly across. He's going to be in a spot, and he underthrows the football. Watch the cornerback pick it up. That's Moss there, just tracking the football. It's almost as if he threw it to him. Athletic play getting up to get it, and that's a huge turnover by Iowa. And he's getting an earful back by Plum on the sideline.
Well, that's their second turnover, trying to push deep into Iowa territory. And a big hitter here, Goodson out of the backfield and out across the 45, the catch and run for 20.
I'll be honest, Beth, that's as simple as they need to start doing on offense. A crossing route. Forget the seams, forget the little stick routes. If you're going to get man-to-man, let these guys cross the middle. You got plenty of speed. Goodson's a burner. You got a fast receiver in number 6, Smith-Marset. Let these guys get chased. Put the ball in their hands and let them make a play like that.
Player of the year in the state of Georgia last year, had a tough fumble last week, trying to make amends. This time of Goodson. Goodson, terrific block to buy his quarterback some time to the 45-yard line to Smith-Marset. So not only can he carry the mail and catch it, Anthony, but the protection is there as well.
Yeah, he's only a true freshman. Georgia State Player of the Year in 2018. But Goodson's able to pick up the blitz off the edge, and that's something Stanley hasn't been able to do. Get that time, look at that cut block. And when he gets the seconds he needs, Beth, he can complete the pass.
Second and short. Stanley, first down yardage to Reganey. He'll get down inside the 40-yard line. They could not cash in on the turnover in the first half, and now another chance here.
Well, we've seen this, right? We've seen great drives. 63-yard drive, 56-yard drive. Now they got another one brewing. Can they finish it? That's been the problem. Finish the drive, get the first downs, don't take a play for a loss on an early down when you cross the 50 and try to get something into the end zone.
Blitz coming off the edge, picked up again by Goodson, and Stanley slings that one down inside the 25. Smith-Marset. The backs picking up the blocks for Nate, and a gain of 17.
And you know, look, the pressure's coming here on the inside, the outside. It gets picked up on the outside, but just watch Stanley. He is going to wait for this, and he's going to throw it. He's going to put it in a spot his receiver can make the play down the field. And again, these are the guys that, to me, are some of the best collection of receivers that Iowa's had in probably over a decade. Get them the football, let them make plays.
Nate now 4 of 4 through the air on this drive. Deflected at the line, incomplete. Well, what a boost it would be if they can find the end zone. Couldn't do it against Michigan. The late score against Penn State. Could not find the end zone in the first half today. And as much as they like Keith Duncan, they'd rather see him for a PAT instead of a field goal. On second down, inside the 5. And caught by Tyrone Tracy. First and goal, Hawkeyes.
What a throw. But how about this better catch? Tracy's got a guy stuck on him right through the window here. Watch this, boom, he hits him on contact. Able to hold on to that ball, just slightly slips down his waist there. He's able to keep it on. And listen, this is a territory right now where you get behind some of your best blockers on the right side. Tristan Wurtz, number 74, 3 tight ends running the ball behind those guys.
Goodson cut down behind the line. Good penetration by Lawrence Johnson. The last 5 trips into the red zone in the last couple of games have resulted in Iowa field goals. The search for 6 continues. They are perfect inside the red zone, but are tired of settling. I formation behind Ross. 3 tight ends again. Stanley has room to scamper and will not get there. Hit at the 1-yard line by Alexander and Karlaftis, and it's 3rd down.
You know, I like to see Stanley, once that thing breaks down, just go. He kind of hesitated a bit because he still wanted to let it live. Watch this, when he starts running, he kind of hesitates there, and then he goes, well, maybe he's trying to juke somebody out, and he couldn't, but he's just not a fast guy. But good effort by him, but look, you get a little closer, the ball's a little bit more. See if they can get a little lead block here. I got to think they're going to try to run this one more time.
Goodson behind Ross, touchdown Iowa! First rushing touchdown for the true freshman Tyler Goodson.
I was waiting for a cannon or some fireworks, something to alert us that Iowa finally scored a touchdown. The crowd got really excited, but finally. And look, they're not going to get tricky down there, Beth. They're going to hand it off. They're going to put it on their lineman's back and let him hand it up, get a big run, and they do. And it's a good drive by them after the big turnover that the defense provided for them.
Goodson helping out on the ground on that 9-play drive to cover 72 yards. They got the ball off the interception. Oh, that was big for the offense, for the Iowa Hawkeyes. Their first touchdown in their last 6 red zone possessions. And they get one on the ground. Tyler Goodson, his first career score, the true freshman out of Sewanee, Georgia. Had a good start to the second half after Purdue turned it over on the Jack Plummer interception. 7.5 to go here in the 3rd. Will not make it out to the 20. Well done by Devontae Young on the coverage there. Well, Week 7 Monday Night Football has the Patriots and the Jets. New England has won 15 of the last 17 in this rivalry. 8 Eastern, 5 Pacific on ESPN. Coverage begins with Monday Night Countdown. Actually, coverage begins right now with Anthony Becht with the preview.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll tell you, Sam Darnold was lights out. AFC Player of the Week last week after having mononucleosis, missing a couple games. And I think the Pats are ripe for a loss. Some team's going to sneak up on them. They're banged up. Their offensive linemen are hurt. Defense is good, though.
Plummer. They got another one in them?
I think so,
All right.
yeah. I mean, Darnold was on fire.
Well, we've seen Kirk Ferentz today on the opposite side. There's Jeff Brown, but Brian, of course, spent some time with Bill Belichick and that coaching staff in New England. That's a pretty good tree right there. Your dad and Bill Belichick. Not a bad way to go. Plummer. Boy, after he was so solid on that finish to the first half, now some struggles here in the third for Jack. And here comes 3rd and 10, and they're bringing the noise.
Well, if you're a redshirt freshman, don't force it. This is a territory on the field. Iowa just got a turnover, and it's getting loud and ruckus here in the stadium. Let's not see the big mistake.
Incomplete, 4th down, intended for Ahmad Anderson. Plummer took a hit as well, up gingerly.
Yeah, Monty Jones off the edge. Gets by the redshirt freshman tackle, and it's after, but boom, takes a shot in the lower back, and those shots add up on quarterbacks. And he remembers a couple weeks ago what happened in Penn State, and Coach Brown is still coaching him up after every series on the sideline, trying to get him right.
Former quarterback himself getting in the youngster's ear. Punt from inside the 10 from Brooks Cormier. It's Geno Stone. And the Iowa drive will start in Purdue territory on the 8-yard return after the 37-yard punt. Whew. Got a good one going on amongst the Palmettos today. We are looking right now at the college football rankings brought to you by AT&T. First Tuesday in November is when the College Football Playoff Selection Committee will roll out their top 4. And then the next two looking on the outside in as the Hawkeyes will start with their best field position of the day here on the other side of the 50. Alabama coming up later. Clemson winning right now. Ohio State looked like perhaps the best team in the country with that win last night against Northwestern. Wisconsin struggling a bit with Illinois on the road.
That's interesting, and Florida's tied up. And look, you get into the season, Beth, a little more tape, personnel changes for some teams, and you start seeing some upset potential and some teams that can lock in and really make tighter games. That's what we need. A lot of blowouts. We need closer games to start seeing who can separate themselves in the top 25.
And that Michigan-Penn State game tonight, 7:30 Eastern on ABC, the whiteout in Happy Valley with the undefeated Nittany Lions trying to stay that way. Stanley will let Brandon Smith try and operate. And Derrick Barnes has him around the legs. That's one of the great scenes in all of college football, the whiteout in Happy Valley. Sean Clifford and Shea Patterson going head-to-head. Saturday Night Football presented by Bass Pro Shops and Cabela's. It's on ESPN, ABC, as well as on your ESPN app.
Just off the front, I mean, Michigan has not been the same old Michigan. I think everybody knows that. And going against Penn State's defense could get a little scary like that for Michigan.
Got a 3rd down and 6 right here for the Hawkeyes. Blitz coming. Stanley has to chuck it. Derrick Barnes bringing the heat.
Derrick Barnes, he's a DN. He's not big, but he is fast. And if you don't block him, he's gonna get in your face, and that's what it takes. Stanley again is not going to be a guy that's going to come off and be able to run around this guy. But again, nobody's home. They don't kick it out.
There's
Left
no
tackle Jackson.
Grounding. There was an eligible receiver in the area. 4th down.
Alaric Jackson should have kicked out there, stayed home, didn't see it, and that's a good job. I mean, look, Purdue causing some ups and downs. We showed in an earlier package how they had some protection issues last week, Beth, and right there, it's a good stop by them to get the ball back.
It sure is, especially with Iowa starting in their own territory. There's a flag down on the punt. As it stands, a 37-yarder inside the 10-yard line.
Legal formation on the punting team. More than 4 players in the backfield. The 5-yard penalty would be enforced from the end of the punt. First down.
Back here in Iowa City, 16-7 Hawkeyes. Let's check in with Rocky.
Yeah, Purdue's defense with a great stop right there, and I just want to make the point, one thing Jeff Brom is known for is trick plays, right? Iowa told us yesterday they've tracked 49 trick plays Jeff Brom has used as a coach. Now may be the time to look out for something like that.
All right, yeah, he kept Phil Parker and the defensive guys busy getting ready for just about anything that might come their way. They have done a good job so far at limiting the big plays. There's only been one, I believe, of over 25 yards today. That was the marker they set. Let's see if Purdue can get something going here. Under 5 to go in the third quarter.
And Kerner's a nosy safety. It's a little damp out. They haven't really done anything really hot and heavy in the run game. So, you know, they're jumping a lot of stuff, and Rocky's right. And maybe not this far down, but if they get past the 50, Beth, right around the 40, 35-yard line, he's got a bunch of them, like Rocky said. And look, flip that sheet in his hand. That's where all the trick plays are. He's going to pull one out.
We'll run it. Doru carries a man for a couple of yards out to the 25. And that's a first down for Purdue. You know, they come in at 2-4, but they've got a pretty good schedule the rest of the way. You figured you'd probably have to come in here and steal one. They were the heavy underdogs coming in, but they've got home games against Illinois, Nebraska, Indiana. You know, going back to a bowl for the 3rd consecutive year, still very much in reach. And boy, would this be huge if they can get a road win. A lot of work still to be done. Doru tries the shake and run out of bounds. That was John Wagner.
Anthony, I couldn't tell. I'm sorry, I couldn't tell if that was a broken play or if that was the design there on that one.
Yeah, you know, and I think that would have worked. They kind of hesitated to counter it back, but you need a little quicker back. And not that Doru is not that kind of guy, but he wants to get the ball down the hill in between the tackles and hit the hole hard. That's where his big runs have been today. They kind of want him to run outside if you're Iowa's defense.
It's a defense that has only been allowing 10 points a game. They've held Purdue to 7 so far. The catch out to the 29 is Jared Sparks, who missed the last 4 games, and now he's back out there on another target for Plummer. And here comes third down.
Fresh bodies, in particular number 94, defensive end. Vanessa.
Plummer. Oh, it's picked off again. The second interception. Oh, they're going to say incomplete. Couldn't hold on to it. Riley Moss almost had his second of the day.
And Plummer threw it right to him here. This was risky throw.
He has been David Bell's shadow here in this second half.
And I'll just be honest with you. Coach Brom has given him an earful. Ball touches the ground. He kind of controls on the side of his hip, but he's out of bounds before he does. But Coach Brom, probably the last couple series, has not been real happy with his quarterback play right now. And look, he doesn't care if he's a redshirt freshman. He is really pressing it.
Kirk Ferentz wants a review right here.
Yeah, you know, he definitely, look at it, here it is, coaching him up. And look, you got to be pressed. You want to be coached hard. This is a quarterback. He understands. He's trying to press a point to him. Everybody's got their own style, their own way of doing it. You know, Plummer's a young player, and this is part of the learning process. Being able to be coached hard, critiqued hard. He wants the best. Now, is this an interception?
There's no adjustment to the clock. Fourth down.
So here's the thing, Beth. He catches the football, but it's never controlled when his body hits out of bounds. Yeah. That's just how I see it. You know, who knows what we'll get. It looks like that's what it's going to be.
That was a quick look at it. Yeah, that'll stand. Fourth down. The 33-yard line is where the Hawkeyes will start. A 40-yard punt, 2 yards on the return, and a 16-7 lead for the Iowa Hawkeyes over Purdue this afternoon. Beth Bowens, Anthony Becht. We've got Rocky Boyman with us down on the field. The Hawkeyes trying to figure a way to sort of jumpstart this offense that had been struggling the last couple of games. Touchdown here in the second half has certainly helped.
Yeah, it feels good. I mean, that was probably the best drive in probably 10 quarters Nate Stanley has had. Throwing the football, tight windows, he got protection, and they were able to run it in for a score. They got to get another drive now and put it in there and try to really cap this game off. Purdue is just hanging around. That's not the formula for success if you're Iowa tonight, because it gets a little scary when these teams get the ball.
Out into the flank to Tyrone Tracy. Not a whole lot doing there. Certainly the message from Kirk Ferentz and his staff, hey, we lost a couple of tough ones to ranked opponents, but the teams ahead of us in the Big Ten West are still ahead of us on the schedule. So they have a date still at Wisconsin. They have a home game against Minnesota, and they have a November date at the end of the season on the road at Nebraska. The team's still fighting in the West. So they have a chance to get some things done, especially if they get a little help from Ohio State against Wisconsin next week. Stanley sends it downfield, and helping out is Brandon Smith. Got away from a couple of defenders to make the catch, and a gain of 30.
I thought he was going to hit his tailback, Sargent, in the middle. He decides not to throw it. Watch, he's looking at him right here, comes off of it, and now you just got number 12. Smith just goes to the sideline. Nice catch, good concentration. Those are tough ball to catch and throw when you're off balance like that. It's a nice connection, huge play. It's an explosive play for this offense.
Nate 19 for 25, 231 yards, and Brandon Smith approaching 100 yards receiving. Back to the ground, and Mekhi Sargent, and a good surge forward. Little help from those biggins up front for the first down. Biggest run play of the day for Sargent. Minute now of this third quarter. Stanley incomplete. Intended for Smith-Marset. Derrick Mackey had the coverage.
Rain's starting to pick up down here a little bit, guys, in the last couple minutes.
See if that ends up an opportunity for Iowa to just run it right at him. 58 yards on the ground. Not the number yet that they were hoping for today. Stanley will keep down to the 21-yard line. Devon Mosley with the tackle, and it's third down.
Some really good linemen on the edges for Iowa. Tristan Wurtz, number 74. Watch him here on the edge just annihilate and just collapse the entire, boom, he just throws him down. I mean, it's Stanley doesn't realize how big the hole is. He kind of runs to a guy instead of just hitting the hole. But some NFL insiders would say they got him anywhere from early second to early first round. He's only a junior, but I'll tell you, he stands out on film to me as a next level guy, and he excites a lot of general managers.
And to that point, AB, about the NFL, I ran into before the game Mike Mayock, GM of the Raiders, and Kevin Colbert, GM of the Steelers, and I talked a little bit. I know one of the players they were looking at, of course, was Tristan Wurtz, man, next level guy.
Saw him warming up before the game. I mean, this guy's got huge trunk, big, thick legs. He's quick. He was doing the speed ladder, looked like a tight end out there. And he's aggressive, strong, and he can pass set with the best of them. It's been a quiet day for defenders on the right side.
On a 3rd and 5 for Stanley. That'll take care. How is it going to stop?
Kirk Ferentz has called a timeout there.
Ferentz with the timeout.
Iowa, their first of the half. Be a 30-second charge timeout.
Tristan Wurtz and Alaric Jackson, the guy on the other side. You know, under Ferentz, 17 offensive linemen have been drafted in the NFL, including a handful of first-rounders.
both juniors, Beth. And look, Alaric probably doesn't get enough credit just because Wurtz is such a good player, and you try to really, when you watch these guys, you can compare them as they play. Jackson, to me, is a click under Wurtz, but he's a head and shoulders above a lot of the tackles that are out there in college.
And the tradition runs rich here at Iowa with those offensive linemen, and even back to the days when Kirk was the O-line coach back in the early 80s. Pretty good group of guys right there. Brendan Sheriff, the latest to go in the first round. And of course, his son James still on the roster with the Patriots. So they called the timeout there to run another play at this end. 3 seconds left in the third, and a 3rd down and 5. Stanley regaining, and he will be held up at the 20-yard line. And that is the end of the 3rd quarter. And is that the end of the drive? Iowa with the lead over Purdue. Nate Stanley over 200 yards passing. David Bell for the Boilermakers, a big day on the receiving end. And for Keith Duncan, 3 field goals and looking for a 4th right here as the drive stalls at the 20. This a 38-yard attempt, and now they will switch it up. Spencer Petras is the backup quarterback, and now
You better make this after all that.
they'll go back down, and he'll be the holder. Actually, Colton Rastetter, the holder, the other number 7, and the 38-yard kick is good. 4th of the day for Duncan, and a 19-7 lead.
Looking for that bear hug, but didn't quite get it. By Duncan.
Well, we talked about Jeff Brown and the trick plays. Kirk Ferentz and his staff fooling around with one a little bit there. They'll end up with 3 more. Just underway here in the 4th quarter in Iowa City, and here's what's happening around the rest of the Big Ten. J.K. Dobbins entered the Heisman Trophy conversation last night with a couple of touchdowns, 1 rushing, 1 receiving. Jonathan Taylor, close to 5,000 rushing yards, and then the whiteout tonight in Happy Valley, Penn State and Michigan. The Wolverines have won 4 of the last 5 meetings.
And I love Pat Fitzgerald, head coach of Northwestern, after the game last night. A reporter asked him, did Ohio State do anything you weren't expecting? He said, nope, they did exactly what we expected, exactly what we practiced. They are just that good.
They are beating teams by 41 points per game. That's their margin of victory. It was even bigger last night. And a flag on the late hit here on the sideline. After Anthrop got knocked down, a return of 14 yards. They may be helped out here depending on how this goes.
Add to the play. Personal foul. On the kicking team, number 48. 15-yard penalty. Be added on to the end of the run. 1st down.
Bryce Schulte. Whistle there for the late hit on special teams.
Correction. He's number 18 on the kicking team.
Oh, and now they're going to change it. John Maloney, or Drew Cook. The best starting field position here for Purdue, just across their own 40. Still a 2-possession game here. Doru will try and cut it back and can't do it. Davion Nixon with the tackle. Let's check in with Kevin. Good news. Check that out on social media as the schooner tipped over. The slide out across the 45 and a gain of 6 yards. and 7. Can they find David Bell? Plummer, incomplete. Iowa with the coverage. Jaimin Colbert. Intended for Antrim. Iowa forces the punt. Max Cooper and Geno Stone back deep here to receive. Third straight punt for Purdue. So they got the touchdown late in the second quarter. The turnover early from Jack Plummer in the third, and they haven't been the same since. And this punt is a wobbler, and it's short, and the fair catch made at the 25. Boilermakers and Hawkeyes, 13:30 to go, and Iowa with the football. They try to sling it instead of working the clock. Brandon Smith, folks wanted interference, no flag. Well, we just heard how good Oklahoma's doing right now. AB, here are your predictions as of today.
Yeah, nobody has better wins than LSU. They got to be one. Ohio State is just dominating the level of opponents they're playing. Bama and Oklahoma, I'm waiting for these guys to play somebody. When they do, they'll prove otherwise. Clemson, 17-3 right now to Louisville. They got a close game win against North Carolina. You know, it's kind of like they're hanging around. And Penn State's my sneaky 16, Beth.
They'll play Michigan, of course, at home tonight. Back to the ground. Torin Young, we haven't heard much from him since that first quarter.
Let me pick apart the other guys' top 6.
Oh, you want to see Rockies?
Yeah,
here
throw
at
it
some
up there.
point?
I didn't have Clemson in my top 6.
I got to make fun of somebody.
Here's the big ginger. And who's at the top of his list? Ohio State. All right.
Okay.
Dominant.
It's got Alabama, 2, LSU. LSU, don't think has better wins than both of those teams, Rock?
Yeah, maybe, but this is where the the head-to-head conversation comes up in my mind. But
Gotcha. And you like Wisconsin, 5.
Oh,
I do.
Wisconsin,
3
Penn State.
shutouts on the season. Like defense.
That's 3 Big Teners in the mix.
And also no Clemson on my list.
No Clemson. Intercepted. And a chance here for Purdue. Mekhi will return this inside the 10-yard line.
Intercepted by Derrick Barnes.
Just a turn of events here. We thought Iowa would come out running in this series, but tries to get the ball out of the backfield to Goodson, kind of throws it behind him, and hey, Johnny on the spot pops up. Mackey's right there, the sophomore, his second pick on the season, and they got themselves right back into business here as Purdue gets the ball deep in Iowa territory.
First turnover of the day for Iowa, and the Boilermakers are down at the Hawkeye 5-yard line.
Very surprised Iowa threw the ball twice in that drive.
Had a chance to try and work some clock and establish that ground game. They go in a different direction, and now Purdue. Actually, they'll spot it at the 9-yard line. And a miscue on the snap. Plummer was able to dive on it. The exchange, a bad one between he and Sam Garvin.
Yeah, they were trying to get their weekly jet sweep to number 33, Jackson Anthrop, and he didn't get the snap. They're lucky there. That would have been a nightmarish situation. Purdue, after just taking one away, gets it back.
And the rain has slowed down a little bit, still spitting just a tad here, but it looks like the last 2 plays Iowa's playing and that one there, the rain may be a little bit of a concern.
Bryson Hopkins, Beth, right here in the slot, the tight end position, red zone.
Plummer almost picked off by Colbert. They have already turned it over once inside the red zone today. And now it's 3rd and goal.
Use both hands. Oh, man.
Yeah, both hands, but, you know, defenders are right there. I mean, eyeballed the receiver out of his break, and this might be a pick 6 if he's able to get it. It's a linebacker, though, Rocky. You know how it is. They can't catch the football.
That's right. Man, that's gonna give him nightmares for the next couple of weeks.
3rd and goal from the 10. Four-man pressure. Plummer stepping up, and now boy. What a job by the Iowa defense on the first 3 downs here. And now decision time for Jeff Brom.
Well, you're probably thinking, you know, running, you got all that space, but you can't. It was 3rd and goal. There's no way to get a first down. Wouldn't have been able to get to the end zone and just wait for a receiver to get open. No one able to get there, and I'm sure he's going to get an earful. Maybe the stare down tactic. Up there.
J.D. Dellinger, 6 for 8 on the season, on to attempt this one from 27 yards out. And he's got it. Purdue has to kick the field goal, so still a 2-possession game, 11:36 to go. Set out of the end zone. He will not get back to the 25, and there is a flag thrown way behind the play. It's been a struggle on the ground so far today.
The defense has been stout. I mean, not known for stopping the run. They're very small inside, but the guys are flying around. The one thing that Nick
holding, number 52, 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick, end of the run. First down.
One thing that Nick Holt preached to us, what did he say? He wants to see passion. He wants to see guys run into the football and tackle him, Rocky, and that's what he's seeing out of his guys today.
He really is, but the question, AB, is how long can they sustain that big offensive line, heavy-handed offensive line for Iowa? I think right now Kirk Ferentz, as you mentioned, wants to just lay into those bodies up front and run this football. And
the Purdue defense has not gotten gashed, guys. 25 rushes, only one of those for over 10 yards today. 1st and 10 Hawkeyes from their own 10. Mekhi Sargent out to the 16, taken down by Ben Holt.
It's a game of chess, right? And I'm just saying, I just feel like Purdue, if they're going to get chancy or do a couple run blitzes here, I mean, that's a huge gain on first down. You can't have it. You got them pinned back. Get some bodies up in there, play man-to-man, and see what happens. I just truly think that it's an opportunity here if they can take advantage of it.
Play action. Catch out to the 20 for Brandon Smith. His 8th catch of the day. Now are they going to not give him the spot to move the chains here? Let's see. Officials will huddle up.
A ruling on the field, but the runner got to the 21-yard line on his forward progress, which makes it a first down.
All right. Watch when he catches it, comes out of the break on the 21. The ball, his feet are on the 21. The ball's not on the 21, I can tell you that much, but that's where they place it, first down.
That'll get him over 100 yards receiving now on the day for Brandon. Stanley. Well over the head of Nate Wheating, his tight end.
And Purdue's defense loves this, right? I mean,
throw it on first down and stop the clock.
Clock stops. You get a first down. You just ran for 6 on first down, the first play of the series, right? Come back to it. You know, it's not about being predictable. If you're Iowa, we know what Iowa wants to do. It's about they feel like their guys can block up Purdue's guys, so they got to show that. And this is the prime time, fourth quarter part of the game where they want to show their dominance.
Yeah, they've thrown more than they've run it today. Sargent. Well, the other thing we're noticing too, Anthony, is a lot of runs to the edge where Wurtz and Jackson would be tackling, and not so much behind the interior linemen, where they've had some inconsistency. But again, Sargent will stay out there here on 3rd and 7.
I'd like to see him run behind Wurtz a little more. He's your NFL guy. Let him do what he does.
Goodson will join him now in the backfield. Running out of time and into the arms of George Karlaftis and Derrick Barnes. First sack of the day for Purdue, and it's 4th down.
Well, Karlaftis is a guy that, he's going against 2 NFL tackles. Anything he does well on the edge here, coming against Jackson. Jackson's very good. Watch his hands, pins him with his arm, whips around. He just keeps playing on the play, and the cleanup man, number 55, Barnes. So 2 guys there. It's a huge stop. Offense got to come up big for Purdue because defense is showing up.
5th sack of the season for Karlaftis. And this punt a wiggler, and it's away from Anthrop and takes a big Iowa bounce off the foot of Michael Sleep Dalton all the way down to the 21-yard line. A 63-yard punt.
Timeout.
Well, they got the late score in the first half to make things interesting, but the offense has been stagnant in the second half for the Boilermakers. 55 total yards on 5 possessions. Need to make a move soon. A couple of scores down. 8:48 to go. Plummer will run with it up the middle. And he'll get to the 24.
Getting positive yards, early downs. And then get yourself in a situation where you feel like you can convert. Plummer must be smarter. Iowa's been reading his eyes in the passing game and just tracking his footballs right now in the second half. He needs to be better with that if he decides to pass.
Threw an interception in the 3rd quarter, almost had another one earlier in this 4th, and the pitch picks up a few more. That'll set up a 3rd and 4 as the Iowa defense making some noise on those hits. Fresh legs up front.
3rd down bet possibility. Jackson Anthrop right there, 33. Quick out of his breaks. Accountable receiver catches the ball when it's away from his body. Does Plummer go to him to get those 3rd down yards they need?
Stone had the coverage, and that defense continues to take away David Bell as well. After that big first half, quiet in the second.
Yeah, interesting. I thought I'd get him in this going an option. He actually falls out here. They only needed 4 yards, Beth. He is open, but the ball's got to come out of the hand right now. And you got to hit that hole. He hesitates. There comes the defenders, the safety in the corner, right on the play. He's got no shot, and that's probably what Coach Brown's telling him. Got to get the ball out earlier.
Boy, he's hit just 1 of his last 10 pass attempts. And they are done quickly offensively. Down at the Iowa 30. Well, TJ is back this week to join Boomer on NFL Primetime tomorrow at 7:30 Eastern, only on ESPN Plus. They'll have all the highlights and breakdowns from the day's big games. To get ESPN Plus, download the app or go to ESPNplus.com. A lot of folks will be keeping an eye on that Ravens-Seahawks matchup. Earl Thomas heading back to the Northwest. Can the Raiders keep it going against the Packers tomorrow? And big Eagles-Cowboys rivalry matchup as the boys try and bust out of a funk. .12 to go with a 9-point lead. And they will look to throw again here on first down, and they'll take a deep shot at the 40, reeled in by Brandon Smith.
He's their best deep threat. We got a flag though, Beth. Hold on. It's going to go back against Iowa. That's taken away an outstanding play.
That was 30 yards downfield, and it's coming back.
Ineligible receiver downfield. Offense. Number 39 was covered off and went downfield on a forward pass. 5-yard penalty. Replay first down.
That's the tight end. Let's see where he's lined up here. 39. He's right here, and you see the receivers on the line of scrimmage. Folks, he has to be back. And for that right there, he either has to stay in as a blocker, the tight end, or the receiver has to be off to the ball, and it takes away from an explosive play. We've been knocking Iowa Beth for throwing the ball. They finally get one against our wishes, and they get a penalty.
So it'll set him back 5 yards. And back to the air. They'll run the screen here for Tyler Goodson. Huge block in front of him out across the 40-yard line. Pancakes for Mark Kallenberger. And a gain of 18.
Serve up some breakfast, Beth. Watch number 71 coming out in front. And when you see a small linebacker, oh man, those are the ones you put on film. You send it to the NFL scouts. You press him out. He just pancakes him. He was fired up after that. He feels good. That's old brand Iowa right there. They're looking for that out of the guard.
Sophomore from Bettendorf, Iowa. He's the 4th different guy they've had playing right guard due to injuries this year. Looking to secure that spot. They'll run it out to the 46, and we've got another update from Kevin Coppers. Thank you, Kevin. They must have heard about the playoff selections of Anthony and Rocky, who didn't have Clemson held in high regard just yet.
I think we're waiting for one more top 6.
The run play off the left side, and that'll keep the clock moving. Tua Tagovailoa and Jerry Jeudy will have their shot in primetime tonight, hosting Tennessee. That's at 9 o'clock Eastern on ESPN. After Ohio State looked really good last night, undefeated Penn State also in primetime tonight on ABC.
Going back to Clemson, the question is going to be how much does the committee view last year and what they did last year in their preseason rankings. Now, on paper, they should not consider that at all, but you know that and human nature are sometimes two different things.
I think you're going to see them not ranked as high and fall into the favor you and I have in Rocky. And that's the right thing to do because you're right. Nothing counts. Nothing matters. It's a big loss moving forward here for this offense.
So they are lining up here to go for it on 4th down at midfield. 4th and 2. Out of the power I with a couple of tight ends. And they lured Purdue off.
Yeah, they did.
Oh, no.
Was the movement coming from the Iowa side first? The officials conversing.
Yeah. Brom's not happy. He's yelling at his defensive line coach.
They always tell the defensive lineman in those situations, don't jump, and his nose is right over the ball.
False start.
Oh, they got a break there. False start on Linderbaum.
4th down.
We need to see this because was he falling backwards? Let's see this. Oh, he got touched. That's a terrible call. That is a terrible call. That's a terrible call. Look at this. Unless he moved the ball, there's nothing I see because look at the defensive tackle on his knee. Watts had a very disturbed look on his face on one knee on that one, and crazy.
So a break for Purdue with 3:50 to go. They will get the ball back.
That kid's got it.
He sums up the feelings here in Iowa City.
Oh, I mean.
Oh, head to head, yeah.
That's a target. No, it's not a target, but it's right over
and
him.
Look
He hits
at
him.
Watts is trying to hide.
He knows it. He knows he jumped off. 65's laughing. He's like, got him. But I don't. the plan was they weren't going to snap that football regardless, Beth. They were going to bring the clock down and try to do what they did. It worked. But either way, that's a bad call.
Can Purdue do anything with it? Plummer. The deep throws have been denied all day, and there's the hook up to David Bell. But a flag down back behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Finally got Bell over the top.
Personal foul.
It's going to be on
the passing. Defense, number 94. 15-yard penalty, they added on to the end of the run. First down.
Just when you think Bell's sleeping and he's not a factor in the second half, he runs right by your defense, something that Iowa promised they wouldn't do. There's the personal foul, clearly. And then here's the deep ball, a little bit behind him. Bell had a touchdown if the ball gets a little farther, but that's a great catch. Big play, just like that, bam. Purdue in business.
54 yards on the pass play, 15 more on the penalty. And Purdue is in the red zone. Plummer in trouble. Incomplete.
Yeah, and there's a receiver there. Everybody wants the throwing illegal throw by the quarterback, but there's a receiver coming back to the football. They're talking about it. That they got it. I don't think they can
he's
call.
reaching. Is he reaching for the flag?
There's definitely a receiver coming back. We'll show the all 22 when they're done their discussion.
I think the field judge there has come in to say we thought there was somebody in the area.
There's no foul for intentional grounding.
Yep.
There's an eligible receiver in the area. Second down.
You're going to have a receiver. I'm not quite sure it's going to be running here. And then as he's falling back, let's pause it. Watch this outside receiver come back to the football. Hey, big arm by Plummer. This is smart by number 10 on the outside by Anderson, getting back to his quarterback.
Good job by the officials to talk about that and get it right. 2nd and 10. Plummer in trouble again, finds Bell underneath for just a few. Colbert able to trip him up. It's 3rd down.
As good as Bell's been, and it's 3rd down, you're right, Beth. Bryson Hopkins on the inside slot, the tight end.
Going quicker, looking for Bell in the back of the end zone, and he's out of it. Riley Moss had the coverage. 4th down, you kick the field goal here, then you try and get the ball back one more time for a score, is what Purdue is thinking. They will bring Dellinger on.
Purdue's got all their timeouts, 3 minutes. First thing in business, you got to make this kick. It's a throw out to the corner. Bell catches it, but he throws him out of bounds. You got to keep him in. I'll tell you, he's good, man. This kid is a special receiver.
He's hit from 27. This will be from 36. Smooth and true. And it's a one-possession game with 2:59 to go. The big pass play to David Bell. Tack on the penalty. And Purdue strikes quickly.
Got to give Purdue credit. They are down a ton of players. They're down the best player offensively in this league in Rondale Moore. They got a bunch of freshmen. Their defense is banged up. They have nobody inside. Lorenzo Neal, their outstanding defensive tackle, hasn't played all season. Their run stuffer. And they've been hanging around this football game. And the offense has done a nice job, but the defense has come up big for Purdue. Just really something I did not expect, Rocky, in this game.
Just down here, guys, watching Phil Parker, Iowa's defensive coordinator, going up to the cornerback who got beat by Bell, saying, what did we talk about? Nobody behind us. What did we talk about right there? Clearly upset.
They beat Iowa last year. In fact, they had 3 wins against ranked opponents a season ago, and Purdue sniffing around for another one. And a huge offensive possession here if they get it for Iowa. Do you worry about the onside, or just to try and tag them deep and let your defense work?
I absolutely want to kick this off. And on first down, if it's not a big run, You don't have to call timeout. If it's a big run, you can wait to the next series, but they have time to make some decisions.
They will go onside, and Iowa is able to cover it at midfield.
Yeah, see, I don't like this.
I don't like
100%. You've got 3 minutes on the clock. You've kicked this ball off. Your defense is playing lights out today. You got to trust in what they're doing. Now, not only do they get the ball at the 50, they're going to tack a penalty on, and it's almost going to put them in field goal range.
Yep.
Wow.
I think that's a late hit on Nico Reganey.
After the play.
Oh, excuse me, Reganey's the guy who recovered.
On the kickers, number 33, 15-yard penalty from the end of the run. Clock operator, please put 2:58, 2:58 on the game clock.
Is this Jackson Anthrop? Yep.
Yeah, I mean, you can't do it. You know, and Jackson's a smarter player than that. I know he's trying to put a little thump on him, but listen, this is in the NFL. The player's down.
Down with the knee.
You're down on your knee. They're going to move it up 15 yards, and that's a bad from the start. That's a bad decision by Coach Brom. I think he's been marvelous today, orchestrating his offense. But to me, that's not the way to go.
All the way down to the 35-yard line. We've already seen Keith Duncan hit twice today from over 40. The field goal would bump it back up to a 9-point game. Sargent, the lone setback. They'll go with the 2 tight ends again and grind it. Sargent breaking tackles inside the 15, shoved out after a run of 21 yards.
Watch the technique on the left side of the offensive line by number 77. Watch his footwork, watch his hand placement, watch how he gets himself under the defender, drives him off the ball, runs past the linebacker. That's what you want. You want a soft edge. That's what your big tackle provides on you. Those are the outside guys you need to lean on this drive for Iowa.
Ben Holt is the backer who missed on that. Iowa has now rushed for 91 yards today. Got another first down here. Sargent up the middle. Breaking a tackle to get in to score. Touchdown run after the onside kick, and the penalty set the Hawkeyes up. Iowa rams it home. Extra point is good. 26-13 Iowa with 2:16 to go.
You know, Beth, sometimes you just got to trust the hole to come open. Watch how Sargent just goes downhill and it just parts. Parts like the Red Sea. Nobody's home. He makes a guy miss, drags the safety behind him. Just a big play. See Mosley with the missed tackle. Couldn't bring him down there at the end. It's his best run of the game right there. That's what Iowa needed. A big block on the first run by the outside, and then Sargent gives them the spark they need with the touchdown run.
And Anthony, 3 second-level blocks by offensive linemen and tight ends there. That was awesome.
Put it on tape, right? That's what they need to do. These guys need a confidence builder, especially inside, right? The interior offensive line, they've been getting smashed. You read the newspapers, you read the online articles. What's wrong with Iowa in the middle? They can't block, they can't get them. That's going to be something to build off of. You saw Kellenberger earlier in the game with the big pancake block. Those are confidence builders, and these are the things that a Kirk Ferentz team normally does, and you're starting to see it here at the end of the game.
And Brian Ferentz told us yesterday, if nothing else, we need to be better balanced today. How about 32 runs and 33 passes? And the 13-point lead. Well, tonight after Tennessee, Alabama, we've got SportsCenter with Scott Van Pelt. Herbie with his big takeaways from the whiteout at Penn State coming up later tonight. Also, Yanks and Stros, Game 6. It's SportsCenter with SVP after college football on ESPN and your app.
They cancel Rocky's segment on SVP. I thought you were on there weekly, Rocky, no?
I need to get back on there.
Yeah, no
Need
doubt.
another one-handed catch and something.
Got your new hat and everything. Hey, you should be on
You're
there.
making fun of my hat, man.
I'm just mad. I don't have one. That's the problem. Look.
Now Purdue will try and play beat the clock here. Approaching 2 minutes to go. They have their 3 timeouts remaining. Plummer connects. Jared Sparks, first down. Sparks, who is just returning from an injury, and you can see how disappointed he is with his reaction there. Heads back over to the sideline. Plummer down the seam. Good catch by Bryson Hopkins, bouncing away from a defender and down to the 32-yard line. A gain of 29. And Purdue make things interesting here with a quick strike. Bell down to the 20.
Has even been close to dropping a football. Even the ones that were incomplete, out of bounds, he caught those balls. I mean, the kid is just unbelievable talent.
12 catches, 180 yards today. They'll look for him again, and a nice breakup. Kerner coming over to help.
And we talked about it earlier, you know, listen, he's nowhere close to being Jerry Rice, but he just, as a comparison on the smoothness of Jerry Rice, he says he sees those attributes in Bell, and I see it too. Excellent route runner, catches the ball with his hands, understands and can go get the 50-50 ball. Even when you know he's getting the ball, Beth, he still gets open.
Hopkins is back in there for Purdue. Plummer will keep, and he will get tracked down and shoved out by Geno Stone. They'll actually say he stayed in bounds, so Purdue will have to call a timeout with 1:01 to go.
How about a drum roll here, potentially? Beth, we want to squeeze in your top.
Oh, we do?
Top 6.
Okay.
Let's get him up there.
Want to see what you're looking at?
I think LSU has the best resume to date.
You know what, Beth? I can't argue with you. This is
I think
pretty
the
good.
I think the eyes, you know, dotting the I, OHIO, I think they have looked the best. You can go to the eye test.
And you know, I'm normally right. I feel like I'm right a lot on these, but
Yeah.
I'll tell you, I like this Penn State at 5.
I think
I like how
yeah.
you put that. I was hesitant because Clemson just is Clemson, and I fell into the trap, Rocky. I put him at 5 because it was Clemson. Beth doesn't fall into the trap.
I'm
but she
looking
puts
for
it.
Penn State to show us something tonight in primetime whiteout against Michigan. We'll see.
Consistent.
All right, we got 1:03 to play here. Purdue needs a quick score and to get the ball back to have a chance against the Hawkeyes. Plummer on the release. Bell with the catch inside the 5. The true freshman with his 13th grab as he approaches 200 yards for the day. Imagine when Rondell Moore comes back and you got the 2 of them.
Well, they're going to find out how they're going to keep him around school for a couple years. These guys might jump early.
And that was Phil Parker that called this timeout here. He wants to get some sort of plan together for David Bell because what they're doing is not working. And on that last play, they had a guy man-to-man coverage and then obviously a safety over the top, and they still couldn't stop him.
The freshman of the week this week, he may be headed towards player of the week next week. What a showing. After they kept him quiet in the 3rd quarter, he has really come on strong here in the 4th.
Watch him work this route on this last catch. Top of your screen, comes in motion. Presses off, guys running, just gets through the traffic, finds him. Plummer trusts. That's the thing about Plummer. He trusts him to be where he's going to be. Good protection by the offensive line. Honestly, any sacks for Iowa today? Because it's been pretty quiet. Only 1 sack in this game for an offensive line that Purdue is just kind of throwing guys out there outside of Hermans and McCann at right guard. I mean, do you just go to Bell here, Beth, just because? I mean, he finds a way, right?
Instead, Plummer will look to run, and he's taken down, and they'll have to burn another timeout. Tried to sneak one by that D-line, and the Hawkeyes were ready with Lattimore and Epinesa.
Every second is valuable, even though they're down big. I mean, to run the football at all, to think about that would be crazy when you need every second. So they got to burn a timeout, like you said.
So we've already seen them try one onside. If they can score here, you're looking at another one. They were unsuccessful the first time around.
Coach Brown looking at that play card. He hasn't spoken yet. He's digging. He's digging. Still hasn't spoken to his guys.
If I were Iowa's defense right now, I would consider manning up Bell and putting another safety over the top or another safety on the inside, take away the quick throw, leave the cornerback on the outside to take away the outside throw. And clearly Brom's MO is in big moments he goes to his best players.
And worthy of a reminder that your quarterback, Jack Plummer, who's thrown it 48 times today, is a redshirt freshman. Bell, the true freshman. What a combo they've been on the road today. Can they hook up one more time?
Changing it up here.
Against the four-man pressure, got away from Epinesa. Room to run. Plummer hit at the 2, down to the 1.
That's actually a great scenario right there for Iowa. He doesn't get in. It's a run, and now they burn their last timeout.
33 seconds to go. 3rd and goal. Needing a couple of scores. Kerner may have been hurt on that play. Jack
Kerner lives
trying to walk it off.
He lives in the box. I mean, the guy just loves hitting people, but again, just avoiding. This is a really good attribute that Plummer has. It's going to help him, especially with their linemen. And there's Kerner, just kind of takes a square shoulder on the thigh there from the quarterback. He doesn't even look like he's wearing shoulder pads, for crying out loud. Look at those things. They're getting smaller and smaller. You remember the ones we showed on Bob Sanders? They're like 8 times the size of that.
Yeah.
And his jersey was dangling off him like a poncho. Times have changed, Rock.
Yes, that's right.
Third down, 35 seconds, no timeouts for Purdue.
David Bell with a tight split here, bottom of the screen.
Bad snap. Plummer, incomplete, it's 4th down.
Yeah, this is, again, they had that jet sweep action.
There's no foul for intentional grounding. There was an eligible receiver in the area. 4th down.
If you remember the last time they ran it, Beth, they fumbled that snap. Now they do one in the shotgun. Won't see the action, but it gets the poorly snapped ball, just rifles it back to him. I'll tell you, Plummer's done a nice job getting rid of it and not getting a penalty with receivers around. Here it is, 4th and goal.
They switch Bell to the short side of the field, to the top. The rollout, touchdown Purdue to Payne Durham with 24 seconds to go. And an injured player for the Boilermakers.
Ruin
Mark
the field
Stickford.
is confirmed. Timeout for an injured player. Offense.
So we're going to get heavy action this way, and then one more guy. I want to circle this player right here. He's going to come across the field and catch this. This is well designed here. No one picks him up. Look at everyone running to the left. They got their 2 underneath defenders, but the tight end is wide open. And again, they're going to make this game closer. They're going to get another onside try, Beth, as well. But it might be too.
They go 11 plays, 72 yards in under 2 minutes to tighten this up again. Dellinger for the extra, and he's got it. 26-20. And here comes the onside with 24 seconds to go. No timeouts if Purdue does manage to get this.
I don't know what the numbers are in college football. I know in the NFL, I believe no one has gotten an onside kick this year. It just seems to be harder and harder. They need that perfect bounce. You know, the kickers kick it off the tee, and they're just trying to get that one bounce to go rocket in the air and get their guys to run under it. We normally just see the ball not bounce really at all. It goes right to the receiving team's stomach most of the time. And they'll have their best hands guys on either side. For Iowa, Reganey, closest to us on the bottom of your screen. On the other side, their tight end, Weeding, who doesn't have a catch today. Sure-handed players if they get the ball there.
Dellinger will kick it off. Dellinger kicks this one to the left, and a nice high hop into the arms of Weeding, and Iowa's got it, and Purdue can't stop the clock.
And those onside kicks, you try to get that second bounce to pop way up in the air, but that thing just stayed down low.
Hawkeyes, barring an incident here, able to get the job done and end the two-game skid to beat Purdue. They'll improve to 5-2. Boilermakers will drop to 2-5. 26-20, the final. Coming up next, college football scoreboard. For Rocky Boyman, Anthony Becht, and our entire crew, I'm Beth Mowens. Thanks so much for being with us here in Iowa City. And the Boilermakers made things interesting late, but Iowa holds on. Rocky's got Kirk Ferentz.
Coach, you guys played a great football game. Purdue would not die. How good does this feel?
Yeah, we didn't expect them to at all. They've been playing hard, and you know, wasn't our prettiest game or our cleanest game, but our guys played hard and persevered.
Defensively, you gave them some big plays, but you also got 2 takeaways and some big stops on there, forcing field goals. How pleased were you with the defense?
Yeah, certainly great to get some takeaways. It's been a little bit of a drought, so that helped us, gave us a spark. Some good plays in the kicking game, some other stuff we got to clean up. We're just happy to get the win today. Conference football.
Offensively, you go over 100 yards rushing. You get 26 points today. Feels good to get some things going on offense, doesn't it?
Yeah, we just had to finish drives. That's the biggest thing on the list right now. It was good to punch that last one and it being a big play for us.
Congratulations, Coach.
Thanks, Rocky. Thank you.
Thank you, Rocky. Today at Kinnick Stadium, 26-20, the final. Iowa over Purdue.